everyone, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name's Rachel and I'm a huge Eurovision fan. So Eurovision 2021 season has finally come to an end, and today I'm going to just go through a couple of things I wanted to bring up, just a quick review of the grand final and the semi-final results that came out. So let's just jump straight into it, and I'm going to start off by talking about the hosts. So we had Edzilia Rombly, Chantal Jansen, Jan Smit, and of course Nikki de Jager, known as Nikki Tutorials on YouTube. In my opinion, the hosts were really good this year, especially Nikki. I thought she was the best out of all of them. She was just so comfortable in front of the camera, and I think, you know, obviously being a YouTuber, she had experience in that realm, but it really did show, and I think she did an amazing job. But also the hosts were they were actually quite funny at times. I mean, occasionally it was a bit cheesy as expected, but in terms of the humour, it was just, you know, it was actually funny instead of toe-curlingly bad as per usual. So yeah, I was really pleased with that aspect of the show. Secondly, let's talk about the cameras. Let's talk about the filming techniques. 90% of the time, the camera work was very good, and it was sharp, it was well rehearsed, but there was a couple of times, which I hoped wouldn't have happened, but it did, where in this case Latvia and Georgia's performances were ruined by some dodgy camera work.
I wanna be. Bring the passion inside, let me touch your fate. I will leave.
So as you can see, the camera was filming another camera, usually the very intimate shots where someone had to be on the stage next to the artist. I mean, that was disappointing, and it was very noticeable. I picked up straight away when I saw it, and unfortunately these are the two songs that came right at the bottom of the whole contest. So I don't know if it's a result of lack of planning, lack of rehearsals, you know, just it could be to do with that, or it just could be literally bad luck. So I mean, I was hoping for that not to happen. In one of my videos that I made previously, I talked about things I don't want to see at the contest, and that actually was one of them, bad camera work. But it happened, things happen. So next I just want to talk about Graham Norton, who is the commentator in the UK. He actually this year I thought was pretty good. It was a good balance between humour but also praising the contest, appreciating it, and I think he was actually quite good to listen to. The issue I had actually was the semi-final commentators in the UK, Scott Mills, Chelsea Grimes and Sarah Cox, who was standing in for Rylan. They handled it very badly in my opinion. They really showed themselves up, and to me it was a microcosm of just the BBC's attitude to Eurovision in general. And in my opinion, the semi-finals need to really be rethought through, because I mean, the people that watch the semi-finals, like I've said before, are the fans, and if you're, you know, in a position to present the semi-finals, you need to be engaging with those fans and giving content that those fans appreciate, as well as people who may have hopped in to watch the show for a couple minutes. I mean, they really need to really sort themselves out in that case, but I will come back to that later. Next, Russia did not get booed, and I'm so pleased. I am so pleased they didn't get booed this year, because they sent Maneskin, who was just incredible artist, so talented, bringing her own style to the competition. And yeah, she didn't deserve to be booed, and I'm so glad that she was not booed this year. So political voting. It was a bit less in this contest, which is, you know, really good, but in two instances it was quite noticeable. Obviously the Greece and Cyprus fiasco continued as expected. It was, you know, embarrassing when the Cypriot juror was giving out the results and the crowd beat him to it. I mean, it's unimaginable to think about what was on those Cypriot televotes and Cypriot jury votes.
Too much grease.
I mean, that's just Greece. There's more Greece in this plate than there is in the Greek Isles.
Second of all, Moldova finished quite high in my opinion. They came 13th, which is, I mean, a lot of us thought they were an NQ this year. So to me, they got too many 12 points, too many public votes. She dropped her microphone in the performance as well, and the playback was exposed, and that I thought might have hurt her chances, but it didn't. Filip Kirikov is behind their entry, so I mean, he tends to have a bit of influence, I think. So It's disappointing to see how many points they got, but I mean, it's always good to see Moldova do well at Eurovision, so I'm not going to complain about that too much. I mean, the next thing to talk about is the winner and, of course, the runner-up. So Maneskin won Eurovision as I prayed for and hoped for. They were my favourite this year and they totally deserve to win. It just shows that rock music is still alive at Eurovision. It's doing well, and I wouldn't be surprised next year if we get quite a few rock bands. Wolf Alice, come on, please. I mean, I know they'd rather drink bleach than do Eurovision, but that would just be amazing for the UK. So, I mean, Barbara Pravi as well, incredible performance. It was captivating. I thought it probably wouldn't be enough to win, but in my prediction, I said that the country that came first and second, it would be very, very close at about 20 points, and in this case it was 25 points, so I was actually quite right there. And I also rightly predicted that somebody was going to break the 300 points for the televote this year, which was Maneskin. 318 points, which puts them in the top 10 televoting scores of all time at Eurovision. That is insane. I'm so happy for them in that respect. And I mean, their reactions were just priceless.
318 points! That means Italy is now in first.
My favourite part actually was Damiano David losing it completely, and then halfway through losing it, realising that I'm a rock star and I'm hot and I'm gonna look hot. And you can just tell by the way his face changed. It's so funny.
Italy is now in first.
And also, I mean, France's best result ever. That is incredible for them. And I think it's a good kick up the backside for the other big five, which I'll come to in a second, because now I'm going to talk about that catastrophic quadruple nil points. What a flop. What an absolute flop. That was shocking. It was beyond anything I could have comprehended at the time. 4 in a row, nil points for 4 of the automatic qualifiers, to the point where the big five and the Netherlands were scoreboard bookends. We had Italy and France in first and second, and then we had the bottom 4 lined with the others. That's incredible. To me, that's just a sign that, okay, forget the Netherlands here, Spain, Germany and the UK really need to step up and have a look at what Italy and France are doing and say to themselves, okay, we're going wrong somewhere, we're in a rut, this is what we need to do, especially the UK and Spain, who have just been coasting on the bottom of that scoreboard for far too long now.
Sorry.
In my opinion, it's just a shame about the Netherlands getting 0 points, because I feel like Django brought something new to the table, and to me, I think it was slightly upsetting that, you know, a heartfelt entry about his roots and everything, and it was, you know, standing up to racism and stuff, got 0 points. I don't know, that was slightly upsetting for me to see. But in the end, I feel like this year's contest was just so high quality that 0 points, looking back in retrospect, was inevitable to happen for a lot of these entries. The UK, the United Kingdom, was disgraced much further than I actually thought, because we got a record-breaking 0-0, which has never been seen before in this current Eurovision voting system. A 0-0 is legendary, but it's also embarrassing.
Because the atmosphere, my God, it's depressing.
And I just want to start off by saying in this case that James Newman is one of the nicest entrants we've ever sent to Eurovision, next to Suri, who actually has respect and love for the competition. And you know what? He really, really handled his 0 points well. And he is such a role model. The way that he stood up, took it on the chin and just celebrated the fact that he'd performed in front of all these people. I'm so glad that the other contestants clapped for him and that the crowd clapped for him and were visibly upset by the 0 points. Unfortunately, I'm not going to praise the BBC in this case, because the staging was poor. I mean, when we watched it, we all thought to ourselves,
Wow, this is dreadful.
Really, really poor. He was just static on the stage. You're getting a guy who is a singer-songwriter, not a performer, not a seasoned performer, to dance with 4 other guys who were obviously trained dancers, but also the choreography was just so corny, dancing around with the trumpets and trombones, and it was so corny. And to be honest, the UK, and to an extent Germany, looked like packaged ham compared to the other entries, which were basically filet mignon. So it was inevitable that we were going to do quite badly in this case. I mean, the moment I saw that performance, I looked over at my mum. She had a hand over her mouth. She looked at me and she said, "We're coming last." And that's all I have to say in that respect. But to be honest, I mean, I could make 5 billion videos addressing the BBC, telling them, you know, you need to really change your strategy, change your attitude, improve, and look at the other countries. But I know that all they're going to say is,
I really don't care.
Because they really don't care. That's the thing. The media response also in the UK has not been very good at this present moment. We had on This Morning commentators basically saying we should pull out, saying actually that Iceland should have got 0 points, which is completely absurd. I mean, what the hell? It's just what we're used to here. And I really hope next year we should just send someone who knows how to perform and not try and choreograph them to do something that's not in their comfort zone, like we did with James. The semi-finals, James's choreographer basically said he's come leaps and bounds, and then they showed a clip of James struggling to dance. I'm like, what is this choreographer trying to say? That James couldn't dance before, or he was way worse? I mean, they just shouldn't have even showed that, because it just showed that deep down everyone involved in that delegation knew that this was going to really, really, really go badly. Awful. So let's just switch it up a bit and talk about something a bit positive, which is Ukraine and Finland doing really well in the televote this year. I mean, I had a feeling they would be underrated slightly by the juries. I predicted Ukraine would come 3rd because I thought the juries might have scored them a bit higher, especially those in Eastern Europe. But unfortunately it was put about 9th with the juries, so I mean, that's still really, really good. But I mean, 2nd in the televote, how incredible was that? This song came up in leaps and bounds after the semi-final. It was trending in the UK, it was trending worldwide. That is incredible for them, and I mean, hats off to Ukraine, coming every year with quality, that they've been in the contest. They haven't actually not qualified ever. That's incredible. People need to really look at them and benchmark and use them as a guide. I mean, come on. And Finland as well, bringing Linkin Park style music, new metal, early 2000s style. It was cool. They pulled it off. They were charismatic, and they just woke everyone up from the crowd. That's so great to see. Finland with their best result in years. I'm so happy for them, and I hope that they keep up this trend now. So now I'm going to have a little look at the semi-final results. So when they came out, I was quite surprised. I got some things correct in what I had previously said in videos. So for instance, I actually predicted exactly that Sweden would come 10th in the public vote in the semi-final. They would just scrape through there, and I was really pleased to see that, you know, I got that right. But unfortunately, I feel like this year Sweden they didn't get a good result. They came, what, 14th or something. You know, right-hand side of the scoreboard. They have not had that in a long time. And in fact, the public actually gave them more points than the juries, which is incredible. I mean, what? Never saw that coming. But yeah, they really need to kind of send something a bit new. They need to look at what Maneskin did this year and actually, you know, think to themselves, okay, that's what people want to win, not boring, bland pop songs. Denmark and Croatia in 11th place. What a shame. I mean, Croatia deserved to go through. They were so close. Norway in 10th. In my opinion, Norway, I wanted them in the final as well, so I feel like in the end it was just not going to work out for Croatia, but what a shame. She had 110 points, I think. That's a really good score for a non-qualifier, really high. That semi-final had such a high standard. And of course Denmark, they actually qualified with the public. They came, what was it, 5th place with the public. That's really, really good. The UK gave them about 5 points. You know, it was just not meant to be because the juries let them down. I felt so sad about that because I think they would have brought something new to the final. that other countries hadn't really put in there. Also Croatia, this is really good, disgraceful that they actually qualified in both the public and jury vote, but they still didn't go through. That's terrible. That's so unfortunate for them. Oh, I feel so bad. Poor Albina. Malta is one I wanted to talk about. As you guys know, Malta did not do very well in the public vote in the grand final with 47 points. Just a little bit above Cyprus. I mean, what? It was terrible. But I kind of had a gut feeling and I prepared myself for this to happen. Very high score with the juries, but poor in the public vote. I was astounded to see that in the semi-final, they had actually come second in the televote. They nearly won the televote and they ended up winning the whole semi-final with something like 325 points. I mean, my goodness, a landslide win for that semi-final. And it's such a shame because now I'm looking back at that public vote in the grand final and I think to myself, okay, the running order was about 70% of the downfall of that public vote, because if they performed in like 23rd place or something, they would have absolutely done way better in the public vote. It's clear that in the semi-final people like them, so I think it really was a bit of the running order that damaged Malta in this case. Latvia came last. Latvia in 17th place in semi-final 2. But to be honest, I'm not surprised. We all thought Georgia would come last, but actually Georgia did a little bit better than we expected in the public vote, and I think maybe he stood out a bit. Latvia was a hot mess. Poor Latvia. Samantha Tina, you've seen in a previous video of mine, the vocals were all over the place. She was in 3 different keys. She was modulating because she probably could not hear the track properly. There's no kind of undertone chords in the track that you can kind of latch onto as a singer. It's just bass line. So I feel like it was just, you have to be someone with perfect pitch to really perform well with a song like that. So I mean, she didn't do great. And also Australia got 1 point in the public vote. Oh my days. Oh gosh, poor Montaigne. That was bad. And also not very many people watched the final in Australia because I feel like them not being in the final was just not an attractive prospect for them. So I mean, that's a shame, but I hope they don't pull out early because they still have a lot to bring and a lot to give. And I feel like they've set a lot of trends in the contest and that's a great thing for them. Estonia as well didn't qualify, but I'm not surprised. I'm pretty sure that as soon as he started performing, a lot of middle-aged women probably would have been like,
Wonder if it ever crossed your mind that what we had was really unbelievable.
But then about 30 seconds into the song, they would have realised.
It's bland.
So yeah, Estonia, he was probably going for the female public vote a bit, but it wasn't going to work out for him. Czech Republic got 0 points in the televote, which is shocking, but his performance was very, very dry and it just bags of charisma, but the vocals were not good enough, and I feel like his song was maybe a bit too modern for what people who were watching that night probably would have wanted. So unfortunately Benny got 0. Second time that Czech Republic has got 0 points in the public vote since, you know, 2016. So now a couple of things I want to talk about in the grand final. Firstly, Cyprus is too low on that scoreboard. They should have done a lot better, and that is the fault of them being the opening act. I mean, 44 points in the televote, that's awful. They deserved way more than that. Their performance was ecstatic. It was amazing. The dancing was so good. You know, the whole stage show was just brilliant, and I feel like they were completely underrated in both halves of the vote. Aiden Alene for Israel, she did okay. She kind of, you know, did mid-table like I predicted, but I'm sorry, if anybody says that she broke the record for the highest note in Eurovision in that grand final, they are wrong, because she didn't. She missed her note. She sang a B flat 6. She was very flat when she sang it, probably from nerves. So if anyone wants that whole trivia thing done online, they have to say that the record for the highest note in Eurovision was broken in the semi-final, not the final. Gjon's Tears was just amazing. 3rd overall, 1st in the jury vote. I'm glad he got points. He just performed and he sang his heart out, and it really was great to watch. So well done to Switzerland. This is an upwards trend for them. I think a win is in the bag for them soon. They really are really stepping up since 2019. Greece got their top 10 finish after a tiebreaker with Bulgaria. I'm really pleased that they're finally back in the top 10. It's been, you know, 7 years, and that's really good for them. I thought that the performance was okay. Like I've said before, the staging was not my cup of tea. It really didn't work this time. They kind of almost dropped her at one point, and also you could see the green screen failing many times, and actually you could see the steps through the green screen because of where one of the dancers was standing. Their shoe was covered by a step. So yeah, I don't think anyone should use that technique again because it didn't work. But overall, 10th place, great for Greece. Bulgaria got 30 points in the televote, which was shocking because Victoria was the favourite to win last year, and I thought she performed so well this year. It was emotional, her song was really good, but unfortunately coming after Finland, obliterated, completely obliterated. And then Lithuania and Ukraine next. That was a no-go now. Bulgaria, 11th place, that's okay, better than Equinox did, but I think she'll be back. She'll be back for blood, and I hope we see Victoria again. I mean, Maneskin's performance was just amazing. Best of the night, blew everyone else out the water in my opinion. The only person that came close to them was France and Ukraine. Fantastic performance, and I mean, we all know what those teenage girls would have done as soon as they saw Damiano start singing. Yeah, we all know what would have happened there. Yeah, the sex appeal was amazing. The band was just... they performed like it was their own show, and it showed. And all those points they got, 100% deserved. Well done, Maneskin. Ukraine was also incredible. Ukraine brought folk, culture, you know, they brought their own language. So many people did so well this year with good foreign language songs, non-English songs in the top 10. Amazing, amazing achievement, and I'm so pleased to see it. Yeah, Ukraine they set that stadium on fire. Amazing. So some of my favourite moments of the contest, I firstly just want to talk about, and we have to mention it, Ethan Torchio of Maneskin's existential crisis during the voting. I mean, that was just brilliant, but we can't forget Flow Rida's existential crisis during that voting.
We know you have received from the public 13 points.
Poor San Marino. We all thought it would come top 10. I thought it would come 8th. 13 points in the public vote. I mean, looking back now, no surprise, because to be fair, Cascada did crap at Eurovision, Bonnie Tyler didn't do very well, Engelbert Humperdinck didn't do very well, so it shows in the present day climate, sending an established name that is kind of in the twilight of their careers, maybe could be said about Flow Rida, doesn't work. Nobody likes it. And I think the European public spoke the truth. And I feel bad for Senhit because I think she did deserve to come higher than how Serhat did in 2019. But yeah, I think the public really spoke their truth in this case. Really, really did. But I mean, poor thing. But it wasn't meant to be for San Marino. So yeah, just to kind of finish this video, I'm going to talk about very quickly what I predicted versus the outcome. So as you can see on the screen, what I predicted was basically very close to what had actually happened. So I got Italy in first correct, France in second correct, Bulgaria in 11th correct, and Netherlands in 23rd correct. So I'm really pleased about that. So in terms of the countries that I completely got off, I put 8th for San Marino and they came 22nd. I put 16th for Greece and they came 10th, which is a great result for them. I put Spain in 19th when they came 24th. I mean, I kind of overrated that a bit. And I put Moldova in 22nd when actually they came 13th, which was a shock to me, but I mean, well done to them anyway. So in terms of overall table, I think I did quite well. I got 4 out of 5 of my predicted top 5, 8 out of 10 of my predicted top 10, 8 out of 11 of my predicted mid-table, and 3 out of 5 of the bottom 5. So that's quite good for me actually. And if you want to see a full breakdown of my predictions, you can watch a video linked in the description. So yeah, I mean, I'm happy with the results of the grand final. I thought it was a great contest this year, but please let me know what you think down below in the comments. I'll respect your opinions as much as you respect mine. So thanks for watching my video, subscribe if you haven't already, and I will see you for next Eurovision season. It's been great, and I thank everyone who's tuned into my videos. I've gained like 150 subscribers since I started making these videos, so I mean, that's incredible for me. Thank you so much, and I'll see you soon. Bye.